there we go. First Foundation Friday begins with a big fail. Well, at least you can cross that one off your list, not to bother trying. Right, well, what a great way not to begin Foundation Friday series with a mega fail. I am sitting here talking to you with a completely bare face because I could not even continue. I kid you not. I could not continue recording the video without just removing this makeup. It was so vile. This MUD, M-U-D, makeup design, flawless finish foundation in ivory. Such a fail. Look, pass, okay? It did not have any redeeming qualities at all. Except perhaps the fact that it actually has a pump, that's quite lovely. I did think, wow, this is quite good for a budget brand. It's got a pump. I guess maybe that is a redeeming feature. And you know, like the texture as you pump it out isn't bad either. So that's maybe a redeeming feature. But everything else about this foundation was disgusting. You will see me try and apply it, try and blend it, try and fix it, try and work with it, and then just abandon all hope. This was colour 001 Ivory. It pumped out, you know, ivory, and within minutes it had oxidised, like the typical sort of salmony, pinky, bleh, mud coloured oxidisation. And that was still while it was on the back of my hand. It did not blend. It smelled vile, but really strong, really strong. And it just didn't dry down. Bleh, I can't speak. It didn't dry down. It had a tacky texture that didn't dissipate. So when I tried to finish it with a powder, of course, the powder just stuck in patches, as if the foundation weren't patchy enough. The powder just stuck in patches, and after 5 minutes of trying to buff the powder and make it work, it wasn't happening. It really wasn't happening. Like, it exacerbated my pores. It showed up every fine line. It really made my wrinkles highly visible. Did not like this product at all. If you are one of the very few people on the planet that like this, that I suspect like it, or that use it frequently, please leave me a message below and let me know what your skin type is and how old you are, because I suspect that this sheer to medium coverage foundation is only going to work on very young, very already clear skin that doesn't have any redness or hyperpigmentation, certainly that doesn't have any issues with pores or fine lines or even wrinkles. But yeah, if you've used this and like it, please let me know. I would genuinely like to know, but I can tell you, flawless skin all day. So the first thing I'm noticing as I'm putting it onto the back of my hand is that, other than the aeroplane going over, it's really quite thick in texture. It's not runny. Yeah, but it's very scented. I'm not sure how to describe that. It's almost almost passion fruity. It's very strange. Well, here goes. What is immediately obvious to me, and I'm not sure whether or not you can see this on the camera, but this is not very easy to blend at all. At least not with my, Real Techniques brush that I use. It's I wish you could see this in real life. I do have dry skin, quite dehydrated skin, counterintuitively with the large pores, and it's not sitting in the pores, but it's just, I'm finding it really difficult to blend. I'm getting a lot of fiber strokes, like brush strokes, in the foundation that I'm having to really buff to try and get rid of and straight down, but then I feel like that's actually just removing the foundation. So that's the first layer, and now I will see if I can add a little bit more around the cheek area and possibly on the nose, just to give me a bit more coverage, and just around here on the eyes to try and even out the hyperpigmentation. I'm not holding out huge success, and I might try stippling a little more. The other thing I'm noticing is it's really oxidizing quickly. And I'm not a fan of that at all. Oh, it's kind of sticky, and it really still smells like, that's strange. I don't know how to describe it. It is sticky. I don't know if you can see there's a difference between this side being the doubled and this one. I'll just show you on the back of my hand. You can see here, and if I just swipe, hopefully you can see the difference in colour between what I just swiped and what's already on there, but it's oxidizing down so quickly, and that's just on the back of my hand. There's no oils on there at all. So if you see, you can tell a real difference between the colour on my face and on my neck. So even though this is allegedly ivory, it's not ivory anymore. Let me just try and even this up a little, if that's possible. Okay, so far I am not liking this foundation at all. I'm really hating the scent. It still hasn't, it has a tacky feel. It still hasn't dried down. It's oxidizing super fast. And the smell is still, I can smell it just on my face. And the more I smell it, the more I don't like the scent. The colour isn't too bad given the oxidization, but the coverage is just almost non-existent. Like, it has evened out my skin tone a little, and being slightly yellowy, it has taken down some of the redness, but not all. I will just try a little bit more, just on my eyes, to see what happens on my lids. Still got that really tacky, it's moderately tacky. It's not the most tacky foundation I've ever felt, but it's moderately tacky. And I'm not a big fan of that. It's still, even after a couple of minutes, it's still really tacky. And it still smells. Yeah, I can still smell it. Nope, not a fan. Now, the things that you can't notice, I'm presuming that you won't notice these from the camera, is that I have some areas of extreme dryness around my hairline, particularly where I'm prone to, and where I'm always pretty much borderline psoriasis. I get quite bad outbreaks of psoriasis from time to time as stress takes its toll. And it seems to be, at least to my eyes, really catching on those dry patches, also around my nose, and I feel like it's really making my pores very obvious, which is not a nice thing. I don't like walking around feeling like I have orange peel skin. And it's still tacky. I don't like it. I'm tossing up whether or not to continue or completely throw in the towel. And I think for the purposes of the video and the experiment, I will continue. This is just going from bad to worse. This Models Prefer Professional Mineral Finishing Veil. Mica, silica, magnesium oxide. This mica is sticking to this tacky foundation. Tacky, cheap and nasty, as well as tacky texture. And it is just, it's impossible to buff it in. And so now I have this horrible situation where I look even worse than I did before. Okay, let's just hope I can buff it. I've got nothing on this Kabuki, and this is the e.l.f. Kabuki face brush. I love these because they're so big and so soft, and you almost can't go wrong ever with them. But clearly you can. I would not go out of the house wearing this. Buffing and buffing and buffing and buffing some more. I don't know that it's working. All it's doing is like exaggerating my fine lines, my pores. It's, oh, look at my wrinkles, look at my, oh, this is not good. Not happy Jan. All right, let's just see if I can't at least finish a face. Well, that's embarrassing. The Garnier Roll-On Anti-Dark Circle eraser thing I just used, which I use quite frequently actually, obviously under the eyes, to counteract the darkness, is more heavily pigmented than the foundation. And so now I have these large areas where it's really obvious that I've got more pigmentation coverage, more coverage than on the rest of my face. And now I'm starting to look like a colourful panda, not like a darkness panda. So, you know, what to do? You can see where it's oxidized. Like, I thought I blended it. This will give you a really good example of how impossible it is to blend this, and then how disgusting it looks when it oxidizes less than 10 minutes later, because the patchiness is really obvious. Look at my eye here. Like, I really hope the camera is picking that up. Can you see that? I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, it's really horrible. I cannot make this work. I'm adding more and more and more and more product, and looking more and more and more cakey and disgusting. And I don't think I can salvage this at all. Not even if I try really hard. So, I'm sorry, MUD Makeup Design Flawless Finish Foundation. Fail. Look, to be completely honest, don't waste your money. Just don't.